A very good evening and a warm welcome to the batch of 2020. I hope you all are geared up and looking forward for a very informative and engaging evening. Today, we have with us Mr. Vinay Kalyan, who would be shedding light on campus to corporate, that is skill enhancement and knowledge upgradation. Mr. Vinay is an operations leader, sales strategy consultant, and a startup advisor. He is a sales and management professional with 25 years of growth enablement, P&L, sales, inside sales, advertising, marketing experience, and is a professional. He has his qualification in management, business development, and IT. He has successfully created, managed, and led large global, multicultural, and diverse sales teams. He is the founding member and president of Sales Enablement Society's India chapter, wherein he has created a bridge globally among Sales Enablement Society across the world and India. He has trained over 1,500 working professionals with 5 to 25 years of work experience. He is a phenomenal leader known as the blast furnace of positivity. He is also associated with IFM as one of the corporate mentors of the current batch 1921. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. That was very kind words, I must say, introducing me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So shall we kick things off? We have 34 attendees. Should we kick off the
Yes,
session?
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool. So I'll start the presentation, and I'm assuming this session is recorded for the people who couldn't log on. Maybe they can check out the recording at a later date. Tell me when you're able to see my slide.
Yes, sir. The slide is visible.
Okay, welcome everybody. Very good afternoon, evening. I know it's a day before a long weekend, so I think I'll keep it short. I appreciate that all of you work very hard. I've been associated with IFIM, and I know your previous batch, your seniors, and how hard they work from morning to evening with classes, research, and other academic requirements. So I'll keep it as short as possible. I'll allow for a longer period of time for us to have question and answers post my slides. I've named my presentation Thoughts of a Lifelong Student because that's exactly what I consider myself. I think I identify myself a lot more with all of you than others out there. The focus of today's presentation would be to try introducing to all of you the shift from campus, where you currently are, to corporate, where the rest of us work, right? So, and with a specific focus on skill enhancement and knowledge upgradation, why those aspects, those two phrases are very important for this shift to be as seamless and progressive as possible. So that's the intent of today's presentation. I know Priyanka introduced me, so I'll keep the next slide short. She's already given a background, so I won't go into my basics, my basic characteristics, what I've done before. But a few things that I'd like to focus upon are, if there are items that we cannot cover due to paucity of time or lack of a chance today, please note down my LinkedIn profile. It's below my photograph, which is on display right now. And connect with me on LinkedIn. I welcome questions, suggestions. I welcome any material that you found useful that you can share with me, and I'll continue to do so. I'm very active on this social media platform. and I utilize my connections to have a lot of sharing and learning to and fro. So if we are not able to answer questions from today, please connect me and ask me those questions. A couple of things that I'd like to focus on today from my profile are as a salesperson, as a professional, after I shifted to my corporate life, um, I made travel one of my focal points. It is a hobby of mine, and because my profession required me to do a lot of traveling, I've traversed the world. Uh, Believe me, I'm not trying to show off the number of countries that I've been to. The reason I put that into perspective, into context, is it allowed me to learn different traditions, cultures, and how people, just like you and me, behave and perform within corporates, within campuses across the world. So that is an amazing amount of interesting knowledge that I was fortunate to gain. And yes, I would love the chance to share the same with you. I conduct training workshops, and over the last 90 days, with the new normal of remote working and social distancing, a lot of that is shifted to webinars and online sessions. So I focus a lot on sales and sales enablement and sales operations. That's my passion. That's my area of expertise. That's what I do for a living as the vice president of Deskera, which is my day job. And I'm associated with a lot of institutions. Of course, I'm proud to be associated with IFIM. It's been an amazing experience working alongside the most dynamic students, the most wonderful business students, as well as eminent professors and academicians. It's been great. Other than IFIM, yes, I work with Narsi Monji. I've had some trysts with IIM, Bangalore Management School, Alliance, and others. So I said I'm a lifelong student. Maybe let me focus on maybe a 30 seconds on why I say that. What's important? Why is it important for anybody to be a lifelong student? The first point I'd like for you to note is to be a global professional. The word global is slowly fading away. I want all of you to note down the new word. It's called glocal. So it's a hybrid of both global and local. So to be a global professional, it is necessary that you have to constantly upgrade your knowledge and enhance your skills so that you are able to perform within a global arena rather than within a local arena. Of course, who does not want to stand out from the crowd? All of us want a unique limelight on us. All of us want to be recognized for something that we have achieved in our careers. So being a lifelong student leads surely to that. I can say out of my own experience. As a global professional, I think you become a corporate member of the global economy. So once you are now competing with individuals, not just in your department, your organization, your state, your country, when that competition now becomes global in nature, it is necessary that you have skill enhancement and knowledge upgradation as a continuum, as a constant. So what does it lead to? Of course, it improves productivity and enhances your business performance. But most important of all, if you want to be recognized, if you want to have the ability, the authority, and to do something which can assist not just your friends, family, and colleagues, but the world in general, you have to step up the corporate ladder. The corporate ladder, my friends, is like a pyramid. So it starts getting thinner as we go up. But having said that, the bottom of this pyramid is extremely vast, wide, and saturated. So there are so many voices when you are at the bottom of this pyramid. But as you start going up and stepping up this corporate ladder, the voices become, the number of voices becomes, smaller, and it becomes more clearer, and people take a lot more cognizance of what is it that you're saying. So for you to step up the corporate ladder, yes, you have to be a lifelong student. If you're technical in your approach, and by technical, I do not mean we are in Bangalore and there's a lot of information technology around us. I don't mean IT, nor do I mean R&D. Any technology, if that is your focal point, if that is what you've chosen as your career, you have to constantly upgrade yourself to be ahead in terms of technology. I still remember I started my career back in 1996. I know a lot of you weren't born. I, I don't know if even if your parents were married, but yeah, that's when I started my career back in 1996. And we were talking of technology, which I tell you, if I relay to you, share with you, you won't even recognize them. The world has changed, and over the last 2 decades, the change has become a constant. So yes, you need to be constantly ahead in terms of technology upgrades if that is your chosen career. Improved marketability and competitiveness, we've spoken about before. You have to be recognized to be heard first, right? And for you to be recognized, to be heard, your marketability as an individual has to be high, which means that the knowledge that you portray to everybody who is willing to listen to you should be at the peak, at a level which people can start valuing, and then start focusing on trying to hear more from you. So your marketability starts growing. Word of mouth. A lot of you are, I mean, all of you are business school students. So you understand the whole concept of word of mouth. So when people start listening to you, understand that all you're trying to portray is valuable for them to take on, they will tell more people, and your network starts increasing, and you become a greater resourceful person. So that's the last point in terms of why one should be a lifelong student, and I have been one. A quick snapshot on what do I do. This is not to portray my daily life. Yes, of course, you will possibly get a glimpse of what I do on a daily basis by the time I cover this slide. But the intent is to say that it is not just a mission statement that you need to enhance your skills and upgrade your knowledge. You need to now focus on a, a set of tools, a set of activities in your daily life, not just like a project, not like an assignment, not a preparation for an examination. No, no. It becomes a part of your DNA. And for it to become a part of your DNA, you need to have and perform a set of activities which now become your new day. And to be relevant, to be performing those set of activities, you need to constantly upgrade yourself. You need to constantly enhance your skills. So it is not as a project that I focus on enhancing my skills or upgrading my knowledge. I have to. It's a must. Otherwise, I become irrelevant. So I strongly recommend that each of you makes it a part of your daily curriculum to do something which would require you to invest the time to upgrade yourselves. So what do I do? I write a lot of blogs. I write a lot of articles. I'm, as I said before, very active on LinkedIn. I do a lot of coaching, mentoring, and training, and I do a lot of public speaking. Now, for these, as you might, start thinking in your mind spaces, I have to be constantly updated with regards to whatever my subject matter is. In my case, sales enablement, sales operations, metrics, analytics, and so on. That is my choice. That's my expertise. That's my experience. So I need to be constantly updated. Not just updated, I have to be innovative, because there's so many people who have a lot of experience and expertise in these subjects. I have to have some level of innovation, which is a part and parcel of my approach to impart what I have updated myself, my experience, my expertise, for me to remain relevant. So, those are the three parts of this sentence. I need to be constantly updated and innovative in my approach to be relevant. So, just spending maybe 10 seconds on each of those parts. Why? What does this constantly updated mean? I decided very early in my career, and you guys, most of you at least, are going to start your careers in the next few years. And I want you to make this promise to yourselves. Customize it according to your specific needs. This is what I did. Very early in my career, I promised myself that I will dedicate a minimum of 2 hours in my active 18. I normally tend to be active for 18 hours a day. 6 hours of sleep and the remaining 18 hours, I have to do something. And within that doing something, 2 hours is mine. 2 hours is what I will use and utilize to enhance my skills and update and upgrade my knowledge. That's a promise I made to myself. And believe me, I'm in my 25th year of career and I have retained and kept my promise to myself. So I read at least 20, 25 articles and blogs every day. There's so many people who are much more intelligent, knowledgeable, experienced, and have the expertise in the subjects that I have passion for. So I read their blogs, I read their articles, I have discussions, and I gain from these. And all of this I do in that 2 hours, that 120 minutes that I promised myself. Innovation. Why is innovation required? As I said, there's a lot of the same out there. There's so many people doing the same thing. If you go to Google and type the phrase sales trainers, I guarantee you will have multiple hundreds of thousands of pages which will come through. If you search for sales trainers in Bangalore, that's where all of us are geolocated, you'll still find more than, I don't know, 10,000, 15,000 trainers. So there are a lot of people who train, and I have great respect to all of them. But I am trying to find some innovation that I can relay during my sessions, which would make people want to listen to what I have to say. Because I genuinely believe what I have to say is important, is something that can help people in their careers. So the world, as I say in my slide, is constantly looking for something which is easy, bite-sized, something easy to understand, simple to digest, and very highly effective as a method to follow. So these are the three drivers for me. Make it easy, make it simple, and make it easy to follow. And for that, I have to constantly, again, I repeat, update, upgrade, and enhance myself. And finally, the word relevant. In my specific world of strategic sales consulting, I have to be relevant or I become history. What I need to do to advise entrepreneurs, and these are people who have the ability to start a company because they have an idea and they believe they can make a difference to this world. These are the people who become entrepreneurs, who become the leaders of corporate India. These are the people who are recruiting you and me. These are the people who are generating revenue, who are making our country and the economy great. So when one of these individuals requires some clarification, has a query, needs some guidance and direction from a consultant like myself, they are expecting nothing less than the best. And I have to remain relevant. If I don't, and I just give them some bookish knowledge from 1970 because I read a book, I will become history. They won't ask me again. So the three reasons why I do what I do, why I call myself a lifelong student, is so that I'm constantly updated, I'm innovative in my approach, and I remain relevant. Those are my drivers. And I hope all of you can set your drivers too. Let's focus on the theme of today, campus to corporate. Now, I'll tell you what, before we go into my slides, each individual who is attending this session today, and I see there's 36 participants, all the individuals who are students within the attendees walked into a B school, IFIM, one fine day with an aspiration, with an ambition, with a vision of what to do in life. All of us are born with the duty, the focus to achieve that responsibility of being successful. And all of us dream of it. It is a normal human aspect. All of you did too. My job today, and I will talk individuals like yourself, professionals, business professionals, future business leaders like yourself, current students, in trying to make this jump from campus to corporate as seamless as possible. Please remember my three phrases from my previous slide: easier, simpler, and very effective. That's my focus. So I have a 6-point agenda that I will portray, and I'll explain all of these. You might not get the meaning of what I mean by these bullet points in front of you on the slide today. I'll explain as we go through the presentation. Understand e-search, and e-search effectively means online searches. Focus, aim, attack, and then go back to understanding again. This is cyclical, and I know it's a bit cryptic when I just read those words out. I'll explain, as I promised, in the next few slides what I mean by this and how these words start making sense for you to start focusing on creating a strategy of making this aspirational, ambition driven jump from campus to corporate as easy and simple as possible, as effective and productive as possible. Make these your key to-dos in your C2C, campus to corporate. Know your target job. Point number one. Don't get boiled down by aspiration and ambition alone, but know what your target job is. And by knowing, I mean writing it down. Do you understand? Do you know what is that designation that you aspire to become in life? And do you, maybe taking it to the next level, know which company that you would like to do that job in? Interesting, when I start speaking to a lot of students, they have an aspiration and an ambition which, in their vision, in their mind spaces, is of a corporate organization that they work in. They have these visions of walking into this huge buildings with hundreds of thousands of employees, walking in and doing a job, getting praised for doing a successful, productive job. All of these are aspirations and ambitions and dreams that all of us started our lives with, our careers with. I'm sure all of you do too. But when I start speaking to these students and ask them, have you thought about what is it that you want to do? Is there a designation that you're aiming for? Is there a title that you want to become in life? I have found that over 50% of those questions, of the students who try answering the questions, they can't answer because they haven't thought it that far. They only had these visions of a large building, maybe wearing a suit, having a briefcase or a laptop bag, and walking in to the office. They have these mind spaces. I'm asking you to make them more formal, make them more tangible for you to achieve. So please, if you already haven't, write down somewhere which you can read every day. What is that target job that you want to become? What is that designation, the title that you want to hold? And if possible, which company do you want to hold this in? Create your resume. Now, a resume is a very extremely important tool for you to get to point number one, that dream job in that dream company. We'll talk a bit more about resumes and what you need to focus on. Prepare for your interview. You have to crack it to get to that job. So you'll have to prepare for that interview. The next 2 points, I suppose, are your biggest friends, your closest allies when it comes to doing what this jump is from campus to corporate. Research online and research offline. And like most of my advice, this to do also ends with the same point: go back to one. Because once you have finished these set of 5 to dos, you will discover so much of knowledge and information and content that you might want to amend what you first thought of. Maybe you want to focus more. Maybe the title that you chose in point number one was too generic in nature. Maybe you want to add a prefix to it, right? So that's why most of my advice is cyclical in nature. My last point tends to always say go back to one. A few minutes again on each of those points. And I've explained the first one in detail, so I won't spend more time on that. But one point I'd like to make in terms of know your target job is, do you know the realities of that job? So it's not just writing down a title. It's not just saying marketing manager. It is not just saying operations head. It is not just saying HR manager, admin head. I want you to go down to finding out what the realities of the job are. Who is a marketing manager? What does she or he do within the organization? How is that job valuable for the organization? Why is it important for the organization? I want you to start digging deeper into those designations and those titles so that you understand what creates value with that title within that organization. Create your resume. We didn't speak much about it in the previous slide. Now, let me make it easy, make it simple for you. Now, as B School students, all of you went through the 4 P's of marketing mix. Even if marketing was not your specialization, 4 P's of marketing mix are I suppose, the level one, maybe even not level one, level zero of marketing, namely product promotion, price, and place, right? I want you to possibly do this as a use case, as a case study, as a project. Name yourself as the product. Your promotion is your resume. Please try to understand that this resume that you're presenting yourself on is the only tool which is promoting you to a possible buyer, in this case, an employer, right? Price and place, which is your package and your employer, have some level of variability to it, right? So I request all of you to focus on the first two: the product, yourself, and the promotion, your resume. What can you do to present this product, namely yourself, in the best possible way to make that product the most interesting, sought after, knowledgeable, effective, productive product ever, which is which will be highly valued by this panel of individuals who are going to select you. And that's how you crack an interview. Let's go into the space called interview now. All of you are going to attend one. You're not far away. Maybe a year or two away, you'll be sat in front of panels interviewing you. How do you prepare for this interview? Please don't assume that your preparation for that interview starts a couple of months or a month before the interview actually takes place. Please know that you already started preparing for your interview. Even if it's 2 years away, you have already started. If you have not, please focus on the next few points. Do you know what the job description is? Please go back to my first point. Do you know what your target job is? If you know what your target job is, please refer. There's so much material out there in terms of the description of the job role of that specific target job. Find out, create notes, research more, find out as much as you possibly can about the role itself. What is the target job and what is the job description of that target job? As you get closer, find out more about who the panel is. Who are these people? What does the role hiring manager mean? What does a HR manager do in an interview? What are the individuals who are sitting as a panel in front of you doing? What are the different aspects that they are trying to check for you to get selected? Whether you are going to crack that interview and get that offer letter or not. What are they checking out? What are the different skill sets that they're looking for? What exactly are the traits within this individual that they're looking for? Research. There's so much of material there. The knowledge that you require for cracking, I can't say this enough. Please remember that your faculty, your professors, guest lecturers, sessions that you see online, all of this is surely going to help you. Please focus on the knowledge that you gain during your time as a student. You need to be updated. You might think, hey, wait, I have my whole life ahead of me. It's okay if I didn't check that chapter now. When I do need to, I will. I can tell you, 25 years I into my career, yes, I call myself a lifelong student. The time that you have right now as a student, you never will get back. You will have responsibilities as an employee. You'll have duties and actions, projects that you have to be a part of as an employee. And all of these are going to be done in the same 24 hours that all of us have. So the amount of time that you have right now to gain knowledge, to update yourself, you'll never have as an employee. So make the most of it. Make the best use of being a student. Etiquette. This is something that I would love for you to understand now, but refer to as you get closer to the interview. There are so many articles on the etiquette that one needs to follow during the interview and whilst being in a corporate organization. There's so much of material out there, and it's so important. This is how people either get successful or remain in shadows. Your etiquette is your best friend. And finally, the extras. This is, according to me, one extremely important aspect of cracking an interview. Every individual, if you visualize the day when the interviews are going on, every individual who walks into the room to be interviewed has walked in with pretty much similar skills. It doesn't matter, to some extent, of course, it does matter what the undergrad qualification of that individual is, but even that becomes a constant. A lot of you are engineers or have done their graduation in a specific course, and suddenly it starts becoming normal. All of you are passing out of pretty much the same business course, management course. So if all of that is a constant, what the panel is now looking for is the extra. How and what can this individual who I'm interviewing, if I'm a panelist, can bring to the table? What is that extra? What is that additional skill? What is that additional talent that this individual brings to the table that others cannot? Remember my previous slide, standing out in the crowd? That's what I'm talking about. How can you stand out in the crowd? What is that specific skill which is valuable for an organization? Please don't say origami or stamp collection, right? Or the fact that you watched more movies than anybody else. All of that is good. It's a passion. It's a hobby. It's something that keeps you de-stressed and so on. Please continue doing all of those things. I'm not trying to take away value from those, but what is it that the organization can gain from you? What is that extra edge that you have that the panel will look at and say, ha, this person has that spark, and hence I'm going to choose her or him. That is the extra that I'm focused on. Research online and research offline, possibly one of my last slides. So I'd like you to focus on this. Is effectively my slide to help you understand how to enhance your skill, how to upgrade your knowledge. Please understand that there is a world of information and content out there just waiting for you to find and read, understand, study, gain from. LinkedIn, as I said, is my go-to place. That's like my pub. That's where I go to have my pint of knowledge every day. I spend more than, I don't know, 45 minutes every day on LinkedIn, and at least half of all the articles and blogs I read are from LinkedIn. I strongly ask you, request you to create a LinkedIn profile right now if you already don't have one. Keep updating it. Write. Please write. Because when you're writing, just because you have this aspect that, hey, wait a minute, people are going to read what I'm going to write. So I have to sound sensible, logical, intelligent, knowledgeable. Just because of those factors, you will start researching, you will start learning, you will start enhancing yourself. So yes, become a member of LinkedIn. It's free. uh, and read, write, please. The next point is God's own online gateway to locating and everything. You know what that becomes as an acronym? Google. Google is our answer to everything. I know you know this better than I do. I didn't have Google when I was a student. I did not have, I mean, well, there was internet. I can't say I'm that old. There was internet when I was a student. But yeah, we didn't have mobile phones, forget about even smartphones. Google did not exist. It was not even thought of by the creators of Google. Internet was something that was extremely difficult to even go through. So a lot of the knowledge that we guys gained when we were in the same shoes you guys are in was through actual written word, printed media, books, libraries, and so on. But yeah, you have the pleasure of Google. Ask the question, and there's tons and tons of material you have access to. Wikipedia, again, another encyclopedia of knowledge that you can gain from. You know what I do, and I don't want to appear geeky when I say this. There are times when I have no other article to read and my 120 minutes is not up. You go to Wikipedia, go to homepage, and if you do not know what to look for, there's a link on top which says random article for you. Click on it. You don't know what it's going to open. You just don't know. It's the most intriguing, adventurous thing you can do. Look at what Wikipedia throws at you to read. See if it's interesting. If it's not, go back to homepage, click that button again. So if you know what to find, please find it. There's tons of material online. If you don't know and you're just bored, you just want something random to read, yeah, go to Wikipedia and click on random article of the day. Go to Quora. Become a member of Quora if you're not already. There's so many questions that are posed and answered. So much of relevant. You can make your online profile in such a way that only relevant question and answers come in front of you. There's so many online libraries. And the last point, please, you have time. I know you all get bogged down from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. with classes, online classes, exams, projects, assignments as business school students. But please remember, there's a lot of certifications that you can complete. Remember that extra edge that I was talking about, which might get you the job, which might make you stand out in the crowd? Certifications. There's no rule that when you pass out of IFIM, you only pass out with an MBA. You can always pass out with an MBA and 5 other certificates which are relevant and focused on the subject that you are passionate about. There's so much of material. There's so many online certifications that are available. Check them out. Gain some. Get some of those certifications. And finally, offline research. It's a world of people. Don't forget that. It doesn't matter what the job that you do is, it will always involve people. Whether you're working with them, working for them, working with and managing them, it doesn't really matter. But it is always about people. So, network, create a network. And I don't mean a LinkedIn network. I don't mean a Facebook network. I don't mean a social media network. I mean a physical network of people that you know. Meet them. I appreciate it in the current scenario of the pandemic and social distancing, physical meetings look like a distant dream. But don't worry, this will end. This too shall pass. And there will be a day when we are back to our normal lives, when we get to meet with people again. Please meet these professionals. Find out what they do. Ask questions. Write to them. Believe me, every individual who's a student or an up and coming professional who has written to me saying, I need 5 minutes of your time. I'm round the corner. Can we meet for a quick coffee? Whatever. I have always found the time to speak to them. It is important. Please remember, everybody who's in their careers, like myself, would love the opportunity to talk to you guys. Yes, we are busy. Please don't assume that just because we're busy, we just don't have the time. Don't assume it. Ask. What's the worst that can happen? I'll say no. Big deal. But you asked. I might say yes. So don't cringe and walk away from possibilities of meeting professionals. Talk to your professors. These people are cauldrons of knowledge. These people are walking encyclopedias of knowledge. They've met professionals, they've created professionals like me. I revere my time with my professors, people who've taught me skills that I still use today. Please remember, each of your professors has dealt with so many batches, and a lot of those batches are now working professionals. Please try to analyze in your minds how big their network is. All those students who studied and were guided by those professors, they're out there in some organization, successful, working, stepping up the corporate ladder, maybe the source of your next job. Who knows? Meet your professors, talk to them, let them guide you on what is it that you can do to increase your network. And please, for heaven's sake, yeah, I didn't, that's not a spelling mistake, I mean it. Bother your guest lecturers. There's so many people from the industry who walk in, do guest lectures, currently maybe online. Normal, when normalcy returns, yes, it's again going to be physically in front of you. Get their details, connect with them, talk to them. Don't let them leave the premises. I've conducted a lot of guest lectures in IFIM. I finished the session, and believe me, there's maybe 100, students who attend the session. 5, maybe 10 remain in the room asking me questions, trying to talk to me and learning more, trying to ask me to tell them more. The 98% of the crowd just walks away. I dare say this, and I say this thanks to the 25 years of experience I have behind my ears. Those 5 will be accessing a lot more content to enhance their skills and knowledge, because they invested the time to bother those lecturers, and gain more from the session. And finally, please attend all the relevant events that you can. Find out what's happening. A lot of events, conferences, seminars that are conducted tend to have special pricing for students, because we want students, the future leaders, to come and learn from us. So please find out more, upgrade your knowledge, and enhance your skill. I know we are now down to the last point. As always, go back to 1. keep doing this over and over again. That, my friends, is my advice for you today. I'm open to questions, whether you ask them verbally or type them out in the chat. Please go ahead and ask. We have a few questions. Priyanka, if you could moderate this, that will be great.
Yes, sir. Okay. So the first question is from Tanuj. He asks, "So I have a strong bond with offline marketing. So for online marketing, where should I start from?"
I think, Tanuj, the first place is, as I said, the please remember my expansion, my funny expansion for the word Google, for the acronym Google. Ask Google the question and see what it throws at you. Now, online marketing is a very vast subject. So it has multiple aspects to it. There's digital marketing marketing analytics, search engine optimization. I'm talking about maybe the tip of the iceberg, Tanuj. There is so much that you have to learn with regards to getting across to people in the new normal. By the way, the new normal was not created by COVID-19. It was created when people started transforming their offline businesses to online businesses, and hence increase the reach of the product or the service. Instead of just appealing to the local marketplace, if you want to appeal to a global marketplace, you have to, implement online marketing strategies. So there's so much of material, Tanuj. Where should you start from? My sincere advice: start with Google. Next question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is by Deepak. He asks, the edge that you were talking about, apart from certification courses, is there anything else that you strongly recommend?
Absolutely. So, one second. I will bring up the presentation again. There is another slide at the end. Anyway, this presentation is going to be available for all of you. Um, so, as you can see, here are some thoughts. All right. These are some of the points that I've researched on, which I surely ensure that I bring up in topics of discussions, interviews, and so on. Right? CIA is not um, the organization in the US that I'm talking about. It expands into counterintuitive analysis. Okay, cognitive reframing, analytics. A lot of you will have subjects which focus on analytics. The Abelian paradox, which is management of disagreement, right? What is Sales 3.0? What have people written about it? VUCA. Can anybody? I mean, I think VUCA is kind of spoken about so much these days because of what we are going through. Let me not ask it as a question because we might run out of time. But it stands for vulnerability, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So VUCA, read about it. Gladwell's tipping point. These are a few pointers that I've put across. Yes, none of these are online certifications, Deepak. But please imagine you have knowledge of these things, and how that knowledge that you gain about these specific things can be implemented into your daily life, into management studies, into business studies. And imagine you're answering a question in your interview and you're able to relay to one of these. You're able to relay to any of the research papers that your professors ask you to read through from journals, right? Just imagine the edge that you will have in that interview. So yes, of course, you're just created through online certifications and you gaining that, but also to constantly read and apply what you've learned in not just your daily lives, but in your ability to impart what you've learned in an answer to a question in an interview, right? These create edges. Okay, next question. Tanuj has a comment,
Yes.
I suppose, because nowadays
Yes.
we have digital marketing going on Instagram, Google, Facebook. So which one is the good which is possible. I think what he means is which is the best one to start with. Google. I think I would start with Google, Tanuj. Sayanthan Ghosh. Do you recommend any website or application for online certifications, or any should we focus on improving the skills from available resources? Okay, so there's so many of them. Um, I think a lot of you have seen ads on Udemy. I've seen ads on Udemy, right? There's EDX. It's an app. You can download it onto your smartphones. It gives access to certifications online. Just say online certification on fill in the blank, whatever it is, HR, operations, sales, marketing, sales enablement. It doesn't matter what your chosen expertise or certification should be in. Just fill the blank and search for it. I've used Udemy before. I've used HubSpot before. I've used edX before. So I'm just quoting some examples that I have used, but there's so many other avenues for you to gain online certification. Sant Kumar says, can you suggest some case study or research we okay or research paper? Okay, so hmm, I don't know. I think that's an incomplete question, Sant. On what? If you ask me, I'll tell you what. I don't know if all of you already have access to online libraries. If you don't, I'm sure you will gain access for you to research on journal publications, which your professors or somebody will share with you, or your library. I'm sure the IFIM library will have some computers in there which will have a login details for getting onto this online web. Just choose your subject though. Your question is very generic, Sant. So I'm sorry I'm not able to answer it. Ask me specific to a subject and I might be able to answer it. Sumant, any certification for marketing you can recommend before classes start? Depends. Marketing is not a subject. Of course, it's a subject, Sumant. What I mean is, marketing is a career. Marketing is a science. It's an art. It's the basic stuff I can tell you is it is huge. It's huge as a subject. Now you need to add some prefixes or suffixes to the word marketing, right? For example, digital marketing. Now, if you want a certification in digital marketing, yes, there's so many certifications in digital marketing out there in the few avenues that I've already spoken about, edX and Udemy and HubSpot and Rain King and so on. So there's a lot of certifications. If you add a suffix instead, say marketing analytics. Oh, there's so many certifications in that too. So marketing is just a word. You need to get into a lot more focused area of marketing by adding a prefix or a suffix. Okay, Sant Kumar, finance, not my area of expertise, but I know a lot of people who can advise you on certifications that you can gain in finance. I might not be the ideal person to give you that answer, but I will find and give you the answer in a bit. Please connect to me on LinkedIn, and we can have a conversation outside of this forum. Barun, Barun asks, how can you bifurcate the type of sales that different specialized people do? Like, what kind of sale do finance people do or marketing people do, etc.? Because initial role that many people get is of sales only. Okay. Barun, you bring up an amazing point, something that I've been speaking on for almost 12, 13 years now. I have been associated with multiple institutions. I was an MBA student too once upon a time. And most specializations in MBA tend to, if you want sales as a career, there's no MBA in sales. There are institutions which have certifications in sales. You surely have a subject or a bunch of subjects which allow you to they are electives for you to choose within your MBA marketing specialization. You can do a dual specialization also, but interestingly, yes, you're right. A lot of careers start with sales. And then you branch out into becoming what is it that you aspire to become. Oh, interesting point, Barun, that you raise. I think it's very difficult for me to answer the question because of paucity of time. But Barun, please connect with me. I want to talk to you. I really, really want to talk to you and help you in finding out different types of sales that happen. How can one start their career in sales and then lead on to becoming what they actually wanted to become? It's a very good. Uh, Please, I'll tell you what, Barun. Let's do this. You ask me the questions, and I will answer. And those Q&A, those question and answers, out of this forum, maybe on LinkedIn or wherever, we'll publish to the rest of everybody. Everybody else also can gain from them, right? So we will write an article with your questions and my answers, and we'll publish it, right? I'm going to put your name as an author. So it'll be a paper or an article that both of us write. So ask me the questions outside of this forum. Ankit, in sales or while networking, how should one go about talking to someone without giving the sense that you have got some intention in mind, whether it be referral or asking for help? Hey, I'll tell you what, interesting that you bring up that point, Ankit. Don't cringe from it. All of us know that's what you're doing. If you're doing your best to try appear nonchalant in your connection, please remember the first thought that comes to me when somebody sends me a connection request. I already know that you're looking for a referral. You're going to ask me for something, and that is fine. Don't shy away from it. All of us already know that there are some intentions behind, and their intentions are honorable. What's wrong in that? You're trying to find yourself another job. You're trying to find yourself the next piece of content for you to gain from, knowledge from, and that's absolutely fine. Be frank and honest. I'll tell you what, I value it a lot more if you connect with me and say, I'd like to learn from you, or I'd like to learn this from you. I'd like to possibly, as an MBA student, gain as much knowledge as I can, and when the time is right, see if there is an opportunity that I can apply to, which you can suggest. Ask. I'll tell you, yeah, of course, out of every 10, there will be two people who might not like it, but eight of us will connect with you, Ankit. So don't shy away. Uh, if you have intentions, and I bet you do, you might as well state your intentions. It's better that way. Ashwath, after gaining some experience in the field of quality, I have landed to pursue my MBA. Fabulous. And now slowly my interest switched to marketing. Fantastic. So how well should I be equipped in this new field? It's not a new field. Marketing, my friend Ashwath, is about quality. There's so much of marketing that happens every day, right? But the qualitative analysis of marketing, which comes out, and there's a subject. If it is not in your curriculum, see if you can find some books or online content on it. Marketing analytics, right? Don't worry, you don't have to be Einstein to understand the algorithms. You don't have to be a math major. If math is a friend, fabulous. You'll understand things very easily. But your knowledge of mathematics has at least to be limited to BODMAS, right? Division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. If you understand that much of math, that's good enough for you to understand marketing analytics. Marketing analytics is a mechanism, a bunch of metrics which focus on the qualitative nature of marketing. Is what I am doing successful or not? The only way for you to find out is marketing analytics, by analyzing what you're doing. So yes, it is great that you have experience in the field of quality. I think it gives you that extra edge that we spoke about earlier. Employ what you've learned from within that experience into the field of marketing. Try reading about marketing analytics, about metrics in marketing, and see how suddenly a lot of experience that you already have from your previous experience in quality starts becoming relevant in the field of marketing. You'll find it intriguing. Ashwath, all the very best. Ranjan says, is public speaking a skill that is highly valued by employers? If so, then why? Okay. Public speaking as a phrase, not so much, Ranjan. An employer is not looking for an employee to go out and stand in a cafeteria and start giving a speech. No, no, no. By public speaking is a form of expression. What an employer is looking for is logical, optimum, and understandable communication skills, right? The whole point of being an employee is communicating, is working with other employees, human to human interaction, right? So if you have the relevant skill to be able to express yourself within the job that you perform, the job role that you perform, and your colleagues, superiors, subordinates, and other parts of the organization are able to comprehend, are able to understand what is it that you're expressing, that's good enough. You don't have to be an orator. You don't have to give speeches. No, 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 not necessary. There will be a certain set of people in every organization. Why organization? Even between your batch, you would have recognized that there are people who find it extremely simple to go stand in front of 100, 500,000 people and speak. They don't feel nervous. There's no stage fright per se. There's no cringing. There's no nerves. They can do it easily. Are they better off for a job than you are? Not so much. What an employer is looking for is clearly, Ranjan, the ability to express in such a way that somebody hearing you, listening to you, is able to understand. That's all. That is all that's required. So, yeah, speaking, absolutely. Expressing, more importantly. Public speaking, maybe not so much. Cool. Any other questions?
So I have a question.
Yes, please.
So when you're talking about all the skill sets and the certification courses,
Uh-huh.
uh, after acquiring a few of them,
Mhm.
so how do I build a brand me when I go in the corporate? So how do I present myself? How do I go about my elevation pitch and basically the brand me
Okay.
so that I get the recognition?
Okay. Extremely important question. So you've done all the legwork, you've done your homework, your research work, you've gained a lot of knowledge and enhanced your skill. How the hell does the world know that you have? That's the question you're asking me. Fabulous. Okay. So social media is your branding tool. Would you agree with that statement? Right? What
Yes,
you
sir.
are portraying yourself to be on social media on a daily basis is effectively creating this brand called me. Now, there are professional aspects to it and a personal aspect to it. So, if I take a selfie with um, standing in a beach and publish that, normally your thought process would be, as soon as I say, where would I publish that? Your answer could possibly see Facebook, maybe Instagram. You might tip into Twitter, right? Is that fair as a
Yes,
response?
sir.
Okay. The minute that is a personal branding. That's effectively you trying to tell the world, hey, this is what I did. This is the fun I had. And fun is normally associated with a specific set of social media platforms. Fabulous. Professional branding, in terms of brand me, are normally associated mainly with LinkedIn and a lot with Twitter. So what do you do? So you've gained a certification. Make sure that the world knows that you have. Say, for example, I have gained a certification in digital marketing from wherever, right? Publish it. Put a post that this is the certification that I have gained. Share that information with people. And now there's a set of people you have networked. Remember, you've already done the legwork. You have networked. You've connected with many, many, many professionals. Let me tell you this. Let me give you this as a maybe not a request, but an instruction. If you guys are not spending a minimum of 30 minutes on LinkedIn every day, and by you guys, I mean all of you guys, each of you guys, if you're not spending a minimum of 30 minutes on LinkedIn every day, you have wasted that day. Okay. So what will you do on LinkedIn? You connect with people, you'll find individuals, you'll read about articles, post. If you finish getting a certification, Priyanka, post the fact that you've gained that certification and don't stop there. Write something. Just imagine there's a set of people who has not gained that certification. It becomes your responsibility. It's your duty now to impart the knowledge that you have gained. A part of it, not all of it. I'm not talking about you to run the whole certification online. Pick up a topic that you identified with and you were very passionate within that certification, within that field of digital marketing, which we're using as an example. Write a small article about it. Write a small blog about it. Don't imagine a blog or an article or a paper needs to be 15 pages long. Has to be, I don't know, 10,000 words long. Not necessary. Anyway, LinkedIn only gives you a limit of, I think, 1,300 characters. So post something, write an article, a page, one page. I'm sure you've gained enough knowledge to write one page about something within that certification that you like. Post that article,
Yes.
share that article, right? Use a lot of hashtags. That's how you create a brand professionally. Any other questions?
Any other question, people? Please type in.
Okay, I've said this before. If you did not think of a question and you think of one after the session has ended, again, let me go back for all of you to note it down. Where is it? I think it was my second slide. There you go. My LinkedIn link is on display. All you have to do is go to linkedin.com, create a profile for yourself, find me. I'm on LinkedIn, Vinay Parakala. Connect with me and ask me anything that you could not think of here. You can ask me there. I'm on LinkedIn pretty much 24/7. So I will answer your question. The good thing is if you ask a question, it might not be unique to you. There might be others who wanted to ask me the same question. They'll also gain from it. Like the mini project that I'm hoping to run with my good friend Barun. So Barun, I'm
Yes.
waiting to connect with you, buddy, on LinkedIn and do that article with you. Okay. Right. So don't worry if you haven't asked me a question today. You can always ask me outside of the forum. But yeah, um, give it a couple more minutes. What would you suggest, Priyanka?
So we had a very interactive session, and I think questions, a few questions were asked, and the rest would be connecting you
Sure.
via
Fantastic.
LinkedIn. And I just saw a message from Varun. He's already enthusiastic.
Which is
He would
good
be
to
the
know.
first one to connect you.
Which is good. Which is good. Which is good. I'd love to work with him. Fabulous.
Yes.
Great. So I think it's a
So
wrap.
one more question we have.
Sure. Okay. Oh, Dinesh.
So yeah.
In this competitive marketing world, how can we be more efficient and what are all the skills we need to have in order to do so? Wow, okay. That's an essay answer, buddy. Finish. Again, very pertinent question. I think the skills that one needs to understand, and so I'll tell you what. Obviously, you need to understand everything that I don't know what your suggested reading is. My suggested reading back then was Philip Kotler. And what Philip Kotler has written is kind of universal and I think agnostic to time. So it's relevant even today. If you aren't reading it as a suggested reading, I suggest. I'm sure it's in your library. Please read that book. So, what are the skills that you require in marketing per se? Oh, I think I briefly answered that to one of the previous questions. Don't use the word marketing, Dinesh. Please put a prefix to it or a suffix to it. And then you now have a phrase that you can focus on. In an interview, for you to crack the interview and land a marketing role, the panel is not looking at you to be a marketing guru. There's very few of those in the world, and those are writing books and advising people already. So they're not looking to recruit a marketing guru. They're looking at somebody who has the relevant knowledge in a specific aspect of marketing. I'll give you two buzzwords, buddy. Digital marketing, I just put a prefix on the word marketing there. Or option two, marketing analytics. I just put a suffix on the word marketing. Focus on one of these, read up on both of these topics. I'm sure you will take a fancy to one of them more than the other. Focus on that. When you go in for an interview, please tell the panel, my passion is in digital marketing, or my passion is in marketing analytics. And believe me, the panel would love to investigate more. They'll be very intrigued that you made such a claim, and they will ask you questions specific to digital marketing and marketing analytics. So before you make the claim, of course, choose, read, study, become as knowledgeable as you possibly can by enhancing your skill, and then make the claim in the interview. Once they ask you and investigate why you made the claim, and you're able to answer the questions that they posed to investigate, the offer letter is yours. I guarantee the offer letter is yours. They will love it, not just because you claim to have knowledge, but you're able to substantiate your claim too. Cool. I think if there aren't any more
Yes.
questions, maybe we can wrap up.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out from your busy schedule and engaging with us and giving us an insight into basically the my upcoming batch, my juniors. So I think they are quite excited to complete some of the certificate courses. And just one information, yes, you will have access to digital library, and Philip Kotler is the suggested book for us, and that
Fabulous.
is what we have been studied in our core terms.
Fabulous.
So you will get access to research papers, and you even we would be conducting the research also. So we have a term which is purely dedicated for research.
Excellent. Good to know that. Good to know that. I mean, Philip Kotler has obviously spanned so many millions of MBA batches right from when I did my MP. He was still the
Yes.
suggested reading, and it's fantastic that he still is. Fantastic. Cool.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
All the
much.
very best to all of you. Have a great time as a student. And last but not the least, um, have some fun.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Stay safe, and everyone stay safe.
All of you stay safe. Yes, of course. Bye.
Thank you, sir.